Good morning. Today is Monday, October 20th, 2025. Albert Einstein once said, "I have little patience with scientists who take a board of wood, look for its thinnest part, and drill a great number of holes where drilling is easy." There is remarkable news coming from Israel, from the released hostages and their families, about the savagery that they endured, which was even worse than we imagined. And I know that I've said that many times over the last 2 years, and it keeps getting worse and worse. But to my mind, even more remarkable is what kept them going for 738 days. They did not drill holes in the easy part, but in the hardest part of all. So here are just a few true stories from different sources, and there are many, many more. This is just a small sampling. Eitan Horn, originally from Kibbutz Nir Oz, taken as a captive on October 7th, returned last week. And he said, among other things, that it was specifically in Gaza as a hostage that he fasted on Yom Kippur. He's 37 years old, and it was in Gaza as a captive for the first time in his life that he observed the holy day of Yom Kippur. And you understand what that means, because they were being starved. So to voluntarily go for a day without eating, it's unimaginable to me. But that kept him going. Segev Kalfan said that when he saw all the terrorists on the stage in Gaza, in one of those, in quotation marks, well, I don't know what you want to call them, staged productions where they return some captives in a very awful manner. But he said when he saw them all on the stage in Gaza, all he wanted to do was to climb onto the stage and to shout, "Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad." Now he's home, and he's able to say Shema Yisrael as often as he wants with everyone around him. Bar Cooperstein said that the song that strengthened him the most, and that he sang to himself over and over again, it's a song whose words come from Rabbi Nachman of Bratslav, written 200 years ago. And the song has the following words: "Va'afilu behastara shebetoch hastara, bevadai gam shom nimtza HaKadosh Baruch Hu." Even in the darkest of the dark places, when you don't feel God, when it seems He is hiding, God is still there, present with you. He's saying this over and over again, and it kept him going and gave him strength. Ron Braslavsky shared that the terrorists offered to him to convert to Islam, and they would give him better conditions. They'd give him more food. But he kept telling them over and over again, "No, I am a strong Jew. I will not do that." And when he was released and he was facing the cameras, he said, "I want Jewish people to understand that they are Jews, that they should do more mitzvos. Hamas did this to me only because I'm a Jew. A Jew must know that they come from greatness and that they're not like everyone else. Elia Cohen was returned from captivity several months ago. You may have seen that he just published a book about his experiences, and I hope to get it soon and to read it, and I suggest the same to you. What he has shared in public so far is just so remarkable. But one of the stories he told is how much he missed his tefillin. His whole life since his bar mitzvah, he put on tefillin every weekday. And now, he couldn't put on tefillin. He didn't have tefillin. So while he was being held hostage, he invented something very creative and very moving. Every morning, I would go to one side of the room, close my eyes, and imagine putting on my tefillin. I would go through the whole process, step by step, in my imagination. Sometimes I could actually feel the tefillin on me. Omer Shem Tov. It's hard to even grapple with these words. They're so deep and so. He said this week how much so he's just released. He said this week how much he misses the connection he felt with God while he was in captivity, the closeness, the sense that he was speaking and that God was with him listening. And he spoke about trying to rediscover that elevated feeling. Wow. To miss something about being a hostage, the closeness and the certainty that God was with him listening. Just remarkable. Matan Angrest was held for 738 days. He was just released. Right after his release, he met with IDF Chief of Staff. Now, most people would ask for and were given time to recover. But Matan didn't. Instead, he told the IDF Chief of Staff he wants to return to full combat duty now. Now! When offered a training role, he would be training other soldiers, not actually fighting in the front. Matan refused. He said he wants to go back into Gaza if that's what it takes to bring back the bodies of his fallen fellows. Still held by Hamas. Remember, there are 16 bodies still held by Hamas. Finally, you may have read, so over the last 2 years, there's a thing about what you call a war. It's a thing to give a name to a war. So, since the beginning, the official name, I mean, a lot of people just refer to it as the October 7th War. But officially, it's been known as Churvos Barzel, Swords of Iron. And that's been the name that the Israeli government has been using and reporters have been using. And you may have seen just the other day a news item from Israel that the government of Israel, led by Prime Minister Netanyahu, decided to change the name of this war that hopefully is over, hopefully, to Milchemet HaTekuma, the War of Revival. Now, this is a controversial thing because what does that mean? Revival of what? And it's a political issue. Some people are saying he's using that name to kind of avoid responsibility for his part in it. I don't know. I'm not taking sides. It's a controversial issue, but that's what the Israeli government officially decided to call this war retroactively. The one that started October 7th, Milchemet HaTekuma, the War of Revival, whatever that means. But here's what I want to tell you. Rabbi Avi Goldberg fell some time ago in the war. He was a rabbi of a community. He was a Torah scholar. He was beloved by so many people, and he impacted so many people. There's just been, I got it by email, a booklet of his Divrei Torah, his words of Torah, on the weekly Torah portion, on Sefer Bereshis, on the book of Bereshis. I believe the intent is to create a book, a final book of all of them, but meanwhile, this was sent out as a PDF by email. And these were written while while he was an officer in combat in Gaza. So he wrote a weekly Dvar Torah for his soldiers. It is incredible. Before he died, Rabbi Avi Goldberg said that while the government called this war Chorvos Barzel, we're talking about like a year ago, before the government just changed it the other day, but a year ago they were calling it Chorvos Barzel, swords of iron. He would have preferred to call it Milchemes Mashiv Haruach, the war of the blowing of the wind. Now, let me just explain that. Mashiv Haruach is the phrase that we add to the Amidah, and it starts for us on Shmini HaAtzeres, which of course in Israel is also Simchas Torah. We start to say that Mashiv Haruach HaMorid HaGoshem, God is one who causes the wind to blow and the rain to fall. In advance of the rainy season in Israel, we're praising God for bringing rain because Israel depends on rain during the winter months, during the rainy season. Milchemes Mashiv Haruach, the war of the blowing of the wind. And he said, and it's just absolutely brilliant, he said it was for two reasons. One is because the war started on October 7th, Shmini Atzeres, Simchas Torah, which is the day we start saying this line, Mashiv Haruach HaMorid HaGoshem. So it refers to that day and the line that we add to the Amidah starting that day. But Ruach means wind, but Ruach also means spirit. And Mashiv HaRuach can also be translated as the rising of our national spirit. The rising of our national spirit. These stories, and so many more, reflect just that. And I pray that this is what sticks with us. My friends, I wish you a great day, and I look forward to seeing you soon in person.